Hi, welcome back to our low-carb abode. I'm Ludmilla, and today we're going to make a delicious chocolate souffle cake. This is probably one of the easiest and simplest keto desserts you can make. Not only is this cake completely flourless and nut-free, but you also just need a few wholesome ingredients to make it. It's basically just eggs, cocoa powder, butter, and sweetener. To give this cake more flavor, I'm also adding vanilla extract, instant coffee powder, and salt. And that's all you need for this delicious and stunning souffle cake. To start off, I need 7 large eggs, which I'm dividing into egg whites and yolks. And I'm going to set aside my egg whites for now and whisk up my yolks. But first I need to add my sweetener to the yolks, and I'm adding half a cup of granular erythritol. It's easiest to whisk up the yolks by using a hand mixer because you do want them to get quite creamy, fluffy, and pale. And it takes me with my hand mixer a few minutes until I reach that point. So once you have that desired creamy consistency, you can go ahead and add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and then 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And you can use the dark Dutch processed cocoa powder or just regular baking cocoa powder. Just make sure that it's unsweetened. Also adding 2 teaspoons of instant coffee powder, and that actually intensifies the chocolate flavor of the cocoa powder. It won't make your cake taste like coffee. I'm also adding 6 ounces of butter, which I melted over my stovetop. You can also use your microwave. If you want to make this cake dairy-free, you could use coconut oil instead. So now we just have to mix all of these ingredients together carefully. As you know, with cocoa powder, it can come right into your nose and make you sneeze. So just keep on whisking until your batter is nice and smooth. So I forgot to prepare my cake pan earlier, so I'm actually going to do that now quickly. I'm using a 9-inch springform pan, which I'm lining with a large piece of parchment paper, and then I'm securing the ring on top. I'm also greasing both the bottom and the sides. I'm using butter, but again, if you want to keep this cake dairy-free, you can use coconut oil instead. So now we can beat our egg whites with a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Make sure to use clean attachments and a clean bowl that are both completely grease-free. Keep beating until your egg whites look fluffy and white, and then you can add your sweetener. For my whites, I'm adding half a cup of Swerve confectioners. You could also use powdered erythritol. And just keep beating until you see that your egg whites are turning stiff. And then we can go ahead and combine the egg whites and our yolk mixture. I'm using a rubber spatula to carefully fold in the whites into the yolks, and I'm actually doing this in increments. So I'm adding about 1/4 of the whites and carefully folding it in. Then I'm adding another 1/4 or so, folding it in until I've used up all the whites. Once you've added all your whites, you just want to keep folding until you don't see any more white streaks. And that's how easy it is to make the cake batter. Now we can go ahead and pour that batter into our prepared springform pan and smooth out the top. Again, I'm using my rubber spatula to do this. And now we are ready to bake our chocolate souffle cake. I already preheated my oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to bake the cake for about 45 minutes until the top looks set. The cake puffs up a lot during baking, but once it cools down, it's going to deflate pretty quickly. And that's actually what we want for this souffle cake. It gives the cake a beautiful, crackly look. Before you try to remove the cake from the pan, make sure that it has completely cooled down. Then you can go ahead and use a butter knife to loosen it from the edges and carefully remove the springform ring. And that should go without any issues because we greased everything, right? So today I'm going to keep it simple and just serve this cake with some cocoa powder. If you want to make it more festive or want to serve this cake for special occasions, you can also serve it with whipped cream. You can just add a few big dollops right in the center of the cake or add whipped cream to each individual serving. I kind of like this imperfect look of the cake that it gets from falling after rising. This cake is simple enough to just serve for your afternoon coffee, yet it's decadent enough to be made for any special occasion, holidays, birthday parties, you name it. This cake has a wonderful texture. It is slightly crispy on top. It is rich and yet quite light on the inside. And unlike other chocolate cakes, it is only lightly sweet. It goes great with just a cup of coffee or tea. Don't forget to let me know what you think of this cake in the comments below. And as always, I'll leave the link to the full recipe in the description. Talk to you soon.